is in a rural area. They and while the Unique Seafood is in a urban area. And the pricing, the Bagan Seafood, they catch their fishes and crabs fresh, because they are set beside the river area. And most of Unique Seafood, they supply it to the and they also have fresh fishes and crabs.
And so now I'm going to talk about the branches as well as the expansion of both businesses. Unique Seafood actually have 8 branches in total, while Bagan Seafood has only 1 restaurant since the day they were founded. As you can see, Unique Seafood is more commercially successful compared to Bagan Seafood. This is due to the differences between the national style, the environment, and the choices of seafood they provide. As you can see, Unique Seafood is said to be practicing tight management style because they have rigorous planning, risk management authority, and particularly the employees they are trained in guidelines and they are supervised by managers. The entire business gains efficiency from tight management, and that is why they are able to expand so quickly, while Bagan Seafood is practicing loose management style, and they are kind of not that strict compared to the Unique Seafood restaurant's management. They actually allow the workers to make decisions, and they even encourage experimentations and exploration. And this entire business actually gains in efficiency, and that is why they are growing so slowly. And next, we'll go to the environment. Unique Seafood, they're actually giving more comfortable environment compared to Bagan Seafood because the setting is actually more luxurious, posh, and fancy, because they even have ballrooms and private rooms with KTV facilities. While for Bagan Seafood restaurant, it's more close to the nature as it's located in the outskirts. And it's actually a huge airy restaurant halfway in the swamp, and the front part is covered with fishing nets. The next one will be the choices of seafood they serve. For Unique Seafood restaurant, they actually serve more than 100 kinds of seafood in their restaurant, as the business is bigger and they can import more seafood from the suppliers, while Bagan Seafood, their business is small compared to Unique Seafood, and they have lesser choice of seafood. Next, I'll pass to Shani.
Right, competition. So, competition is experienced in every form in the industry in terms of business. There are 2 types of competition: unhealthy competition and healthy competition. So what this does is, both the seafood restaurants actually practice healthy competition. So these are the 4 main factors when it comes to competition. I'm just going to explain the 4 factors before I get into the details. So understanding your core market. So before you open a business, you need to understand what your business is, who your target audience are, what is your entire aim. So in this case, both of them are seafood restaurants. So either way, they're both aiming to serve the community around them. The difference is that one is centrally located in the city, which makes it much easier but more expensive. The other more rural, which makes it cheaper in terms of cost of land, and because it's located by the riverside, this allows it to attain supplies much more easier, and cost of transport is deducted in comparison to the Unique Seafood, which is in the city. So understanding your core market means understanding what exactly your intentions are. What are your aims of the business? Are you aiming to please people? Are you aiming to make profits? Are you trying to get customer value? So both of these differ in both the seafood restaurants. Although their targets are the same, the way they approach it are different. Customer service, I just mentioned, very important. For example, if you're in a rural area, you have less customers, so your customer service is more important because depending on the customers that come in, your one-to-one service will either attract them and spread the word using the power of words, right? So this would that's the only way you can spread out. Because they're cheap, they're smaller, it's harder for them to market their whole industry. Whereas the customer service in the Unique Seafood are ironically a huge range because of the various franchises and branches that they own. Innovation, both for seafood restaurants. So what makes it different? What makes them completely different? What keeps you above the competition? For example, Unique Seafood have 3 main competitors. They are the Chinese, 3 main competitors. They are the Oriental Pavilion Restaurant, Noble Mansion Restaurant, and EE Chinese Cuisine. In fact, all these restaurants are the 3 main competitors in the city itself, and all 3, more or less, actually are on the same level, but in terms of interior decor and stuff, are on a higher level than Unique Seafood. But because Unique Seafood owns various branches, this allows it to stay above the competition. In terms of pricing, they're allowed to spend less. They reduce costs because of the various branches. They don't need to try as hard to impress their customers because they've already got their loyalty. Innovation. So every week, actually, in both of the restaurants, Laut Panggang and Unique Seafood, the chefs actually come up with new innovative dishes to try and please their ever so loyal customers. What this does is it also gives the customers a new sense of something new every week to look forward to, rather than the same old boring monotonous routine. Education. I don't mean education in terms of going to school and people's education. I mean in terms of being educated about your market, being educated about your goals and your targets, and having a proper business plan. This is super key in outbeating your competition. Opening a business of your own is like starting kindergarten. If you don't have the correct education, you won't make it. You won't survive in the world out there. So each business needs to know what they are trying to achieve in terms of education. And education also means studying other competitors, learning from them, using their tactics. For example, if one business increased price, the next business can also increase price, or maybe they could both increase price to, raise up their profits. Great. Both businesses focus based mostly on the freshness of food. Unique Seafood have their own aquarium within their restaurant. But what this does is, because they have their own aquarium, most of the customers are kind of displeased to a certain extent because the fish aren't fresh. Maybe they could be 2 to 3 days old, whereas Laut Panggang is right next to the river, so they get their food distributed almost every day by the fishermen. So this is where you can evaluate the weighing scales of their customers and stuff. That's about it. Next would be Bridget.
So now we're talking about the strategies carried out by both businesses that aid in the growth of the restaurants. So both businesses, they employ different strategies that help with the growth of the business. Firstly, they focus on the freshness of the supplies of seafood. For Laut Panggang, they receive a direct supply of seafood from the fishermen since they're on a fisherman village. But for the Unique Seafood restaurant, they have a large aquarium where they possess fresh and also seawater fishes to preserve the freshness of the supplies of the seafood. So being in a highly competitive industry, both a promotional and advertising strategies are very crucial. So both of these businesses, they possess Facebook pages as well as their own official websites to help advertise and promote their own restaurants. Since technology is very prominent these days, they make use of social media sites to help advertise their businesses. They also employ a similar strategy by promotion via discounts on set menus and also special discounts on selected dishes. Every once in a while, they'll have these promotions to lure customers into their restaurants. They also come up with innovative dishes every once in a while to spice up their menu and also increase variety of their products.
Alright, in conclusion.
So in conclusion, we can learn lots of things about how geological factors affect businesses, by their location, how close they are to the sea, how close they are to civilization and such. So what have we learned? What have you guys learned? too early in the morning. It's okay. So we can learn that the location is really essential to how a business is supposed to start, and your target market is also important. Geological factors actually affect your target market. Let's just say you're in a rural area, you're going to pull in more rural customers. If you're in a better area, like a city, say, you're going to pull in like the customers on the higher end of the socio-economic scale. So and yeah, so it's like the marketing also. Like rural areas depend more on word of mouth rather than advertisements like Agan and Unique. And yeah,
We've also learned that it's actually much harder to, if you were to open a new seafood restaurant, based on what the interviewers told us, it would be much harder to open a new restaurant from start in any area, because seafood is actually a monopolistic industry, and to start off from scratch is very difficult because you already have large sharks in the market, so it would be very, very difficult to start a new restaurant, and therefore he advises, not, if we were to open any business, not to open a seafood business. All right, thank you.